Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to learn about the remaining poetic devices. The remaining poetic devices are: the first one is hyperbole, second oxymoron, third transferred epithet, fourth imagery, and the last one is symbolism. Okay students, first let us see what is oxymoron, or what do you mean by oxymoron. In oxymoron, there is a combination of two words that together express a contradictory or opposite meaning. In this device, it is used for emphasis, for humor, or to create sarcasm. Basically, you must have heard another device which is called antithesis. And what is the difference between antithesis and oxymoron? In oxymoron, the opposite word, the contrasting words are used side by side, and in antithesis the same words are used after a gap of a few words, or you can say a phrase, either in the same line or in the adjacent lines, you can say. So here you are having in front of you the examples of oxymoron. The first one is beneficent beast. Now, what do you mean by a beast? Beast means a monster or something which is going to make you feel haunted or horrified. But beneficent means a person who is a well-wisher or something which is going to benefit you. So they both are contradictory or in contrast meaning sense. It is from the poem A Roadside Stand. Another example from the same poem is greedy good doers. Now, how can a person who is a good doer, something who is doing good, it can be an action or it can be something which is going to benefit you. Now, how that particular person you can call him or her as greedy? So that is not, that both are contradictory things. So it is from the same poem. I think I have made myself clear over here. Oxymoron and the second one which we are talking here is antithesis. So what is the basic difference between the two is, in both of them contradictory words are used. In the first one, that is the oxymoron, in oxymoron basically the words are used in close conjunction or they are used side by side. बच्चे, इसमें जो है, जो विपरीतार्थक शब्द हैं, जो शब्द ऐसे हैं जिनका अर्थ एक दूसरे से बिल्कुल अलग है, वो साइड बाय साइड यूज़ होते हैं, यानी एक के बाद एक वो शब्द लिखे जाते हैं. जबकि एंटीथीसिस की अगर हम बात करें तो वो शब्द कुछ शब्दों के गैप के बाद जो है वो अकर होते हैं सेम लाइन में या फिर जो है आगे आने वाली लाइनों में. देखिए कुछ और एग्जाम्पल्स. लेट अस सी सम मोर इंस्टेंस. orderly chaos. Now what is a chaos? Chaos is a stage of disorder. So how we can connect it with orderly? So they both are presenting a contradictory picture in front of us. So both the words are different in meaning. So this is the example of oxymoron. The next example is shining darkness. If something is dark, how we can call it as shining? How we can call that it is something which is bright? So it is an example of oxymoron, and these words are used side by side, one after another. So that's why we call it as oxymoron. The next poetic device is hyperbole. What is the meaning of hyperbole? You must have heard in Hindi the अतिशयोक्ति अलंकार, जिसमें किसी भी बात को, किसी भी चीज़ को बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा कर बोला जाता है. So it is an obvious and intentional exaggeration of something. It is used for emphasis when the poet wants the attention of the readers towards a particular thing at that time. He uses this poetic device, hyperbole. It makes something sound better and more exciting. So let us see some examples. The weather was so hot that everything was on fire. Rather than saying that the weather was very hot, ये कहकर कि मौसम जो है वो बहुत गर्म है, उसके अलावा क्या कहा गया है कि इतना ज़्यादा गर्म है कि जैसे फायर या अग्नि जो है वो गर्म होती है. द ब्लैक स्मिथ्स हैंड वॉज हार्डर देन अ रॉक. तो यहाँ पे उसके हैंड को जो है किससे कंपेयर कर दिया गया है कि वो इतना ज़्यादा हार्ड है उसका हैंड जैसे कि रॉक होता है. द ओल्ड मैन वॉज ओल्डर देन 100 years, you can say. Let us see some more example. Almost died laughing. You must have heard these phrases that a person almost died laughing. So this is an exaggeration. Cried so much he made a lake. Or you must have heard she cried oceans. Means she cried a lot. His feet are as big as boats. So someone feet that cannot be as big as the boats, but here there is a use of hyperbole. My backpack, or you can say the bag which you use to carry to school, that weighs a ton. It means the backpack is very heavy. So hot I could fry an egg on the sidewalk. It means the temperature is searing. So hungry I could eat a horse. It means I am very hungry at that moment. The next one is imagery. When pictures are painted through word, at that time imagery is used. There are generally 7 types of imagery which appeals to our 5 senses. This device helps the reader to visualize the context. Whatever is written, the reader is being able to create mental pictures, जिसमें हम किसी भी टेक्स्ट को पढ़ के जो हमारी 5 सेंसेस हैं उनको वो टेक्स्ट अपील करे, और जब हम अपने माइंड में पिक्चर्स बना पाते हैं, at that time imagery is used. In this, the author describe the scene, things, idea in such a manner that appeals to our senses. So let us see some example. The first one is from my mother at 66. Children spilling out of their homes. Here we are being able to visualize the scene. यहाँ पे हम देख पा रहे हैं कि वाकई में क्या हुआ होगा या कैसा वो सीन होगा कि बच्चे किस तरह घरों से निकल के बाहर आ रहे हैं. Next example is from the poem of a William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Then the last one is the concert was so loud that her ears rang for days afterward. So here it is appealing to our sense of hearing. So generally there are 5 types of imagery is shown in this picture. The first one is auditory. It means here we are being able to hear. Either it could be a music, noise or silence. Then there is visual images can be created through colors, shapes, patterns or size. Then olfactory, it means it describes what we smell. It can say something about the fragrance or odor which we experience, fragrances or bad odors. Then gustatory, it describes what we taste, sour, sweet, acidic, bitter, salty. And the last one is tactile. It describes what we touch or feel. It generally describes the texture of something or the movement or the temperature. So let us see the examples. Visual. For visual you can see the golden rays of the setting sun reflected upon the clear waters of the lake. So students, whenever you are going to study it or read such lines, there is a clear-cut picture in your brain that something like this is happening. Then auditory, the trees rustled. Here the word rustled and the wind whistled. They appeal to our sense of hearing. Then kinesthetic, my toes went numb and a shiver ran through my body as I stepped into the cold river. So they are giving us a sense of feeling what we are going to feel in a certain kind of circumstances or in a situation, what we are feeling, or a movement has been shown in them. Olfactory, the stench of rotting garbage. So here it is related to smell basically, or fragrances, so olfactory. Then gustatory, her mouth watered and her tongue, it is basically related to the taste, like sour, peppery, mango. The next poetic device is transferred epithet. Epithet, what do you mean by epithet? Basically, it is an adjective or an adverb. And transferred means that that particular quality or that adjective is meant for something else other than the word with which it is used. So basically in this, it is describing to a different noun with which it is used. So let us see the examples, like selfish cars. Now cars cannot be selfish, so it is related to some another noun. So it is from the poem A Roadside Stand. Then polished traffic. Now traffic cannot be polished. Here the word polished, this adjective is particularly for some other noun and not meant for traffic. Now sleepless night, it is a very common example of transferred epithet. Now night itself cannot be sleepless. Here sleepless means to a person who was experience something on that particular night, that he was not been able to sleep. The next one is wonderful day. So a day itself cannot be wonderful. It can be wonderful for a person, for an individual who is experiencing it. Then cruel bars. Bars are non-living thing, so they can't be kind or cruel. Now here cruel is meant for another noun and not for the noun with which it is used. तो बेसिकली ट्रांसफर्ड एपिथेट में यही है बच्चे कि जो एडवर्ब या जो एडजेक्टिव जिस नाउन के साथ इस्तेमाल किया गया है वो उस नाउन के बारे में ना बता के हमें किसी दूसरे नाउन की तरफ इशारा करता है. देखिए कुछ और एग्जाम्पल्स इसके. आई एडमिट इट वॉज अ फनी डे. सो दैट फन क्वालिटी इज belonging to that girl or that woman who has experienced fun on that particular day. Means it was her experience and not, it is not for the day. The girl's experience were fun and not for the day. Now the next poetic device is symbolism. Basically symbols convey a lot of ideas and qualities which are different from where they have been used literally. It can take different forms and sometimes it offer a broader and deeper meaning to the text. The first example which you can take is from the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tiger, wedding band. So here particularly that is not only representing the ring. Here what is the wedding band is symbolizing. Basically it was also symbolizing that the aunt was confined, she was restricted. So it is used as a symbol that she was confined into the house, she was not being able to live her life according to her own will. Then count to 12. In another poem it symbolizes clock time. So basically it is from Keeping Quiet. Here the 12, it is not only the numbers which were written on a clock, but they also represent the number of months in a year. And also with that there are 12 months in a year. It is also representing the time, the 24 hours in a day, which were represented by 12, the number 12. Next one is fisherman in the cold sea. Here His hurt hand symbolizes man's exploitation of the nature that humans are exploiting. Thank you.